Hey guys, how's it going? So it's been a while since the last update, but I've got a fair bit of stuff done. Basically, the room was being painted, and I have to move loads of the crap around. You know what I mean? I discovered how much crap I had really, and so these are kind of what I've been working on. These are the pigmen, I suppose, that were shown in the last episode, like 2 months ago, and that came out pretty well. Pretty happy with them. They were just sculpting over the bodies, just the heads, and changing the feet really of the abyssal dwarfs from Mantic Games, and they actually turned out pretty cool. I mean, yeah, obviously I'm not I'm not a Squidmar painter or anything like this. I'm no painting isn't really my favorite part of the hobby, but I'm pretty happy with them. They look pretty crazy, and these are the other few that are undercoated as well. So these guys were a little bit more heavily converted with the crazy piggy faces, chaos pigs, I'd say, which lets me get away with having them a little bit crazier looking, but you know large scale ones. Actually, his axe is pretty cool, pretty crazy. Doing large scale piggies like this would be cool. He's actually not great. The detail didn't come out great on him. So yeah, I'm gonna have to say he's a dud, but the rest of them I'm kind of happy enough with. And so I'm gonna race through stuff here, lads, because like there's a lot here that's just random stuff. As you can see, this little frog lad with his tiny frog on his base. Up in the back here, you got this huge pig was painted. The dragon as well from the last episode, literally just dry brushes and inks and stuff like that. Really handy. This is another one from Reaper. I'm pretty sure it's Reaper Bones. I didn't actually use any washes on this one, as you can see. I bet if I put an oil wash on this, it would look a fair bit nicer, but I'll see if I want to do that. This one was actually put together, this fly. I have some work in progress shots of this on my Instagram, and it's literally some artwork. I can't remember the artist's name now off the top of my head, but he does some really cool like tattoo and sketchy, kind of strange um, creatures, and he's done Pokemon, and he does these kind of weird flies as well. So kind of got inspired by them, and basically just copied his artwork really and made it. But I think it's cool. Very much mutated crazy big fly. This guy as well, I think, was in the last video. Lads, I literally had to watch the last video to remember what I was doing. Like, it's been so long. This one was Zenithal undercoated, and then just used a load of inks to pick out all the different, textures and all that kind of stuff. And it's Chaos Beast, so it's just, you can do craziness with it. But this would be cool. Like, a larger scale of this would be really interesting as well for those kind of Chaos Beasts. I think I've done kind of basically different selections of those in the past with those weird guys. Well, do you know the fingernail guys and those? But yeah, these are dogs. These are wolfhounds from alternative armies as well. These few guys here are actually my warband from 5 Leagues from the Borderlands, which I've played a few games of, and it's amazing. I've actually played a few games and haven't had them painted, which is kind of blasphemous, considering I have so many painted minis. I don't know why I had to go and use new ones. But the bodies of these guys are from the what's it called, Game of Thrones game, Song of Ice and Fire, I think it is. I just thought they were quite cool. This guy's a Reaper guy that I kind of resculpted his face to give him a big weird nose and a beard, and then I gave him a little baggie at the back there. And this guy is my halfling caster as well, so he's got a few extra bits. I have some other guys as well, but they're in progress. There's kind of like a feral guy with a crossbow, and there's kind of a youth as well with a sling as well. So they have their own stories. It's a pretty sweet game. The 5 Leagues. It's hard because I don't have a lot of time, we'll say, to set it up and play it and stuff like that. But the whole system is really interesting. If you're into that kind of solo play, I would check it out. So these are some little female monsters I made with my son under his direction, basically. Really, really, crude or whatever. But I think, he's getting mad into Pokemon and stuff like that. So, under my influence, really, I think. Silly little guys. I think they're fun. And what else? So between sculpting and that, I have kind of started to sculpt a few actual minis. This guy kind of started off as there's loads of books. So my son, we get loads of books. So there's all children's artwork and stuff like this. Some of it's quite interesting and textured and stuff like this. It's nice. Like, I can appreciate it as well as reading the book about the monkey that lost his bananas and they have to help him find his bananas or whatever, that kind of shit. So this kind of stuff is simpler. This is just a boy. So if you can imagine, he's 28 mil. He's smaller, so he'd be like a younger boy in a cloak. And fair enough, his eyes aren't amazing, but I think as a concept of literally just not having to sculpt much, if you have a cloak and a hood up, if a bit stylized, I will admit this is quite stylized, but I kind of like it. Kind of reminds me of there's an animation studio in where I come from in Ireland called it's called Cartoon Saloon, and they have some kind of animated movies and animated shows that they have a style something similar to this. Is the face Book of Kells. It kind of reminds me of their basically the look of their animation studio. But yeah, this is another one. This is one. So this is the mini I've actually sculpted up from scratch. Got actual some handles you can see in the background. This one was made for me by someone, and the ones in the back I made, so that's why they look all bandy and a bit thrown together. But this guy is a little chaos pig fella. I'm hoping to maybe get cast by somebody if I can figure out a few things. But yeah, as you can see, so he's piggy, so I'm on a pig vibe at the moment. as well as he's got the big teeth as well. I don't know why big teeth is so cool. I kind of like picking them out. You know, when you go in and you highlight them, it's just really satisfying. You know, and they take washes really well, and just really I think it's quite satisfying as a finishing part of painting a mini. So he's got his tusks or his fangs, and he's got this mace, not a mace. I suppose it's kind of really rusty looking axe, and he's got his arse out, of course, starting to be kind of a trademark, as well as his little wiggly tail, little fat piggy. See, the thing is as well, he's actually quite small. He's actually very small. I don't know why I made him so small as kind of one of my first minis to try and sculpt 100%. I did follow now. Pro tips here, lads, is I think his name is Tom Mason on YouTube, and he's just got so many videos of just like basically how to sculpt minis, and that's basically what I did. The armature with the green stuff, and then the Fimo over that. I didn't have, we'll say, the Fimo Professional. I do have some now, but I didn't have some. But I don't think it's super, it didn't make much of a difference when literally I'm just trying to have a go at it. And then the small details would be in green stuff. So hopefully he'll get cast up, and I don't know, I think it'd be pretty crazy. Like if you could go and say, oh cool, we could go buy that little pig fella for a few euro. I think that's cool. I don't know. I think it's pretty mad. I'll look at those now in a minute. So yeah, so there's all obviously things I'm making there kind of halfway done. This kind of weird squig beast as well. He'd be another cool one to cast up. I'm a part of the Discord as well for we'll say indie sculptors, and there's 3D sculptors there, traditional and just crazy skilled people, and that are big on Instagram and stuff like that. But they have hangouts, and they have, let's say, challenges, or just community events, I'd say, not more so than a challenge in a way. And one of them was just to do faces. So that's why I've, for one, tried to dive into actually sculpting minis, proper minis, as well as just having fun with, let's say, combining the kind of fairies I've made in the past, let's say the bigger life-sized fairies, if you can imagine, as well as the smaller ones that I've done for, scale for 28mm. But just having fun. This is just literally, I think it's epoxy sculpt mixed with a bit of green stuff, just onto a rock, and to kind of paint them up afterwards. And this guy, he's in the middle of being painted, but very kind of, I don't know, goofy goblin face. Yeah, like a few washes, and I'll do his eyes properly as well, but I said I'd include it. And he's a lot of fun. Painting up those, and that'd be another thing I think I've discussed in the past as well, which is just making things and leaving them out somewhere for someone to find. You know what I mean? I feel like the trend of, you can agree with me or disagree, I don't mind, but the trend of this fairy houses and fairy doors, it's nice. I like it, but I like it more so when people make their own, even if it's just literally a piece of wood and the kid drew a door on it and colored it in. I think that's so much nicer than literally you're buying a piece of resin from China or you're from wherever online and putting it in the forest and nailing it to a tree. Do you know what I mean? I feel like it's quite different. If it's a piece of wood and it's got chalk or crayon or paint or whatever on it, and the kid has put some time and effort and a little bit of story into it, I think it's so much nicer than, oh, I bought a fucking thing for a fish tank and threw it in the woods. Like, I understand kids will get enjoyment out of it either way, but I just think there's so much more value in it. Sorry about that. I went off on a bit of a rant, but just to finish this up anyway. So these are the other few little things I've been sculpting. This is obviously smaller scale again. I was trying to sculpt my son 28mm. I don't know what I'm doing to myself. I'm starting so small. He looks quite small. He's only, a toddler. He's just 2 and a bit years old, like, so he's still work in progress. I have to do his other ear, and then I have this kind of fabric that looks like really curly hair. So that's the plan for him, and he just has a stick there, so he's just going to be a little boy, basically. Not obviously perfect, not the exact likeness, but hey, I'm still learning at that scale, and then having fun with these bigger bits, big, fat, lumpy, I'm not sure what this creature's going to be yet, but big, naked fat guy, probably some kind of monster. 28mm scale again. He's actually like probably will fit on a 25mm base, quite cozy. But that's the plan with him. I might give him like comically small arms. That could be quite good. He's just like a mad, huge fat guy. That could be interesting. And same thing again. I'm not exactly sure what this was. It looks like he's sitting on a toilet. Why am I always sculpting arses? Does he have an arse as well? He does. Of course he does. But yeah, this is going to be some kind of troll. I think the plan is to have him like a rock eater or something like that, stone eater troll. And his face is obviously, I was just messing with that. But this is just different Fimos. It's actually this polymer clay stuff from China that I got for Christmas, if you can remember. It could have been 2 Christmases ago in that calendar thing that my wife did. So I'm really only, jumping into that now, but just mixing the colors together. It's all the same. It's a bit soft. I've heard that the firmer stuff is better, but I don't really mind. And this is one that I started ages and ages ago, so just kind of a rough little pig fella, quite cartoony again, but as you can imagine, like, he could be filled out. Arms, obviously, legs, some kind of armor, doing his face, his tusks, finishing that out, his mouth, just seeing what I do with his ears and stuff like that. So it's all fun. Once you have the handles, it's actually so much easier. Then to finish up, I have some other stuff, but this video's gone too long already. These are guys I made recently. This is a little bead bot. I say bead bot because they're mostly beads. And it's really, that's what got me into the bill making stuff. Just when he started doing, or when he came on the scene with his beads, I was like, shit, what? Why have I never thought about this before? It's such a cheap material, you can do all sorts with it. And then that's combined with the scratch bash and crack this is going on, the vibe going on, and everybody getting into that. So I'm just like, that's a complete other side of the hobby that makes me feel justified to collect more shit, basically. But no, it's really good as well. So there's another little kind of chibi. He's very chibi actually, little bead bot fella with his little gun, and this other guy. I don't like him as much, but I was kind of experimenting with the arms, the go-go's or whatever you call them, things you put in long hair, girls putting their hair, or guys with long hair. And they're just little robot guys that I'll paint up, and they're all covered in the baking powder, baking soda, whatever it's called, with the super glue, so they'll be all rusty as well. But that's another update, guys. Fair bit of stuff there. Oh yeah, they're little vultures as well. They're literally just little vultures taken from that zombie giant, the Reaper one that was in the last video there. Nothing crazy, obviously, but just something else to have in the big box of crazy random monsters and stuff. But yeah, as you can see, fair bit going on. I have a little bit more space organization here. I have the stuff up on this wall here. Whoa, Jesus, that went a bit crazy. And the plan is to eventually, the attic will be done, and then I'll get a space in the attic. That's the plan, and then set up a bit better and see where we go from there. But I'll keep doing updates anyway when I can, and if I do anything interesting, let me know what you think of this stuff. Let me know if you would, buy a little. Like, when I mean little, like this guy is okay. I don't have a ruler handy, but like if this lad is 28 mil, right? He's quite small. That little pigman is quite small. So in the future, I'll be probably better off making bigger pigmen. But let me know if you buy a little chaos pigman with a rusty axe, and let me know what you think of all the bits and bobs. And look, I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks. Like, sub, all that crack if you want to, and I'll talk to you again. Good luck.